What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Line Pull Podcast. It's your host, Kenny, here. We also got Dave here with us today. Dave, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, how's it going, y'all? Pretty good, Kenny. How are you?
Oh, man, I can't complain at all. How was your day today?
It was pretty rough, man. We fighting with braided line. They got stuck in the hole. Now, we had to leave the crane overnight and come back, and
Mm,
they decide they're going to pull out a rope socket. So coil tubing's coming in. But other than that, it was all right.
right on. We also have in the green room back here, Chris. How are you doing today, Chris?
Man, I had a great day. My daughter took me to the shooting range today for Father's Day because she has
Right on.
obligations tomorrow. And I pity the fool that mistakes my daughter for a bad shot. She really impressed me. I was proud. I was very proud.
You know, my kids really enjoy shooting. When we go down and visit my parents, we usually rack off around, and my daughter, she loves shooting the little 22 rifle that we have. She will run 14 rounds out in a heartbeat and just keeps it moving. So that's awesome. Well, we also have Justin here with us. Justin, I know you there.
No, he's not here yet, Kenny. He's dropping that guy off at work.
Okay, I was trying to make. Well, he's got our news topic, so trying to pull it out a little bit. What about Dave? You got any interesting to talk about on the day here? Give us a little bit.
It's hot in Texas. It was 106 today in my truck. So,
Wow,
how about you?
it's been warm up here in Indy. It cooled off. It's about 86, 87 today. It's been up in the high 90s with a high dew point most of the week. But,
How's the crane school gig going, Chris?
Man, it's been really good. We've had some good students come through. I actually had a student come from Port Lavaca, Texas, and he's done very well, and he actually found us on TikTok. So I was
Wow.
really excited for him to share that
that
with
is
me.
awesome.
And I did have another student contact me earlier this week. He sent me a text message picture of him running a triple eight. Um, and prior to school, he had not been an operator. He'd been a hotshot driver, and he sent me a message saying that he really appreciated what we taught and showed him, that what we
Right
were
on.
doing was working for people, and that put me on cloud nine. I ain't
Nice.
even ran a triple eight yet.
Nice.
Well, I see
Go ahead.
Justin's here. Justin,
What's up,
chime in, man. There
guys?
you are. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, just living the dream here in the great state of North Carolina.
Woo!
You guys hear me all right?
Got you loud and clear, man.
10 fur. Well, today's news topic
Yes, sir.
is, hold on one second. Today's news topic comes out of Cranes Today, and the news article is all crane and buys Lee Bear Range and there. And the article goes over that they are buying 25 brand new Lee Bear cranes for 2022. And goes into
Mm-hmm.
depth of what they're looking at and the variety of sizes. And the biggest crane on order is going to be a 1,200-ton crawler,
Ooh.
lattice boom. And what I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about is, with the expansion of a lot of these big companies like All Crane and Buckner and Mammut, what's your guys' thoughts on everyone? Like, it seems like these bigger companies doubling down on these big, massive machines and giving more opportunities out for people.
Well, I think the industry in itself is just everything is getting bigger and more, or it's getting more crowded. So you need a bigger crane for the reach. So, if all Crane and Buckner sees the need for it, I mean yeah, that's some big iron.
See, these companies, they plan out these jobs, and they kind of get guaranteed contracts for the work. So they buy all these cranes or they lease them or whatever. Uh, if the industry does fall out, then they're stuck with that. So
Hmm.
a lot of companies have done that.
Uh, I know I talked to a Buckner tech a couple weeks ago on a job, and apparently, Buckner just bought that 13,000. Apparently, he said that they had two more on order, which boggled my mind because I don't think there's three of them in the world. I think Mammoth owns two of them. I thought no, they only own one. Anyway, but for Buckner to have nearly 10 of these 11,000s, they've got like 10 of these 11,000s, 1800s, 1750, LG 1750s, LR 1750s, and Buckner's just they just exploded on size. What about you, Chris? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, y'all got to keep in mind they passed this infrastructure bill. So a lot of these companies are ramping up, I think, with these larger machines in anticipation of the infrastructure, whether it be wind, solar, or even just highways. I've got a buddy of mine in Miami that just took delivery of a brand new MLC 650. Um, so I think that's probably a large part to do with it is these companies are gambling on this infrastructure bill.
Yeah, I mean, if they see the work to be out there, if they see the money out there, then I'm sure they'll take the risk on it. I mean, it's ain't no sense in taking a risk if it ain't there.
Oh yeah, several companies I work for, like TNT, for one, they've filed bankruptcy several times. They get in over their head, and they over forecast the work, and then
Hmm.
the work dries up, and you know a lot of companies lease cranes. Like one of the companies I used to work for, they lease their cranes, and you're stuck with that crane, but you have only so many hours you can run that crane. And like here in the oil field, that crane stays on all summer long while you're working, so you're just racking up the hours. And if you go over so many hours, they start charging you per hour on that rate plus your lease payment. So you got to watch out for that too.
Hmm.
So I
Oh,
have something else that I thought of with that article, and with the adding of these big, massive cranes, you know, your support staff. Do you think that a company that's getting this, do you think they'll be getting additional heavy haul and upgrading their fleet, or moving with just what they have? Does that make sense at all?
Well, I know that they all is really good about staying cutting edge and next in it. They they're always upgrading and changing and doing and progressively keeping high quality and new and fresh equipment in their fleet for this. So I'm sure there's more to come other than just the Liebherr cranes. I'm sure that they're going to upgrade other trailers and trucks and things necessary to haul such large components. They've had several 21,000s and stuff as well, so they understand what's needed to haul, giant cranes.
But you see, it's not just the cranes. That's fine and dandy in the equipment. It's getting the personnel to run that and drive that and oil and rig. So that's the deal you got to go through. Go ahead, Chris.
man, talking about the hours on cranes, last company I worked for, we rented an LR 1300 for a project, and the company that I worked for was predominantly all oil field, so we never shut the machine off. And when we turned that crane in, we had $180,000 bill for the number of hours that we put on that machine. So, uh, I think that's going to be an issue that we wind up running into in the future. And that same company I work for also rented a much larger machine and tore it up. Uh, and it's no longer a functioning machine. So there's a lot of risk involved in renting out this larger equipment, even if they have the ability to pay for it. They may not have the staff capable or competent to run it. I think that's going to be a huge issue with all this new heavy iron coming in. There's really not that many experienced people to take care of it just yet.
Yeah, exactly. Like we had the company I worked for, they had three brand new uh 225 Groves, I think, and they could not run them because they ran them out of hours. And to
Wow.
not pay the hours, they just set them. You couldn't use them, and we lost the contract, lost the work because we told them we'd have these new cranes for their locations instead of older cranes, and those ran out of hours. And they tried to bring in the older cranes and said, no, that's it, we're done. So they stayed parked there until they came and picked them up when the lease ran out.
So it's funny that you made the comment about, running the equipment and ragging it out. And that brings up a whole nother subject. And entirely, at the end of the day, as an operator, we try to take care of our equipment. But how do you make that decision? And like Chris, you as a teacher and someone that's been in for a long time, in comparison to me being a young buck, do you give the keys over to that brand new machine, or should the younger guy take the older equipment that's tried, true, and tested before they get the brand new machine and get broken into?
Well, I strongly, firmly believe that you need to come in on the older stuff and earn your way into the nice stuff. But I mean, unfortunately, that's not how it always turns out. It's just I dare say luck of the draw. So, unfortunately, and just to bite people in the rear sometimes.
Yeah, me running cranes, I was at a job and I was on a 90-ton Dodano, and I was on that crane for 2.5 years. Awesome crane. It's the four section, the intermediate live boom. And they bought brand new 120 ATs, and they gave a brand new AT to a new guy, and I was livid because I told him
Mm-hmm.
I want a crane for myself. Oh, okay, okay. Well, they gave it to a guy that just got his CCO from being a truck driver. He got his CCO, so they gave it to him. Well, they got it from the dock, and it still has the flags in the two blocks. Well, they didn't pull the flags out of the two blocks. So it's telling the computer it's live, sucked the ball off, broke the auxiliary boom head, and the ball fell 10 feet from the company man. So I definitely think that the younger guys need to run the hand me downs and the newer guys need to get upgraded.
I mean, you just learn a lot more. You learn to pay attention to a lot more with the older stuff, and it's got a little more forgiveness to it. There's a little more scratches, dings, dents, things are missing, quirks you got to think about and do. So you learn to look at the machine differently than just jumping in it, turning the key, and pulling the lever. So, but well, I'll tell you guys what. We'll time to move on to our topic here. Our topic of discussion today. I think it's the union and non-union debate. This is a huge debate in the industry, no matter the trade. And contrary to what most might want to think and hear, it's not going to be a heated battle of who is more superior than the other. Um, the group the group of crane operators we have internationally and here local spread across are very skilled, very knowledgeable, very respectable individuals from both sides of this bridge here. We're all on the same page with we don't feel that one is better than the other based on the way they earn their money. We are all brothers and sisters of the hook. We are professionals in the industry. This crane, whether it comes out, if I get out of the seat and Dave gets in the seat, the crane is going to function the exact same regardless if it's a union or non-union operator. So I think we're going to open this topic up, and it's going to be kind of a rolling topic that we want to discuss and more or less bring unity to the industry because at the end of the day, it don't matter what happens to the crane, who was running. If a crane ends up on its top, that's all the world sees is a crane on its top. It's not a union guy or a non-union guy or anything that matter to the general public. It's only to the people in the industry that cause it to be an issue. So, Dave, come on in at any point, man, and let's get this rolling.
Yeah, I run Brothers of the Hook group on Facebook, and it's a very popular group, and a lot of guys know as soon as they hear the name, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been around for a while. And Chris here he's an admin in the group. He's been an admin in there for a long time with me, and we see all kinds of these debates back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to put an end to it in our group, you know, because it was getting bad. There's no bashing. I don't care if you union. I have nothing against unions,
Nope. I'm the same
and
way.
you're not going to bash non-union.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we all bleed red. We do the same job. We die the same way. And, you know, if crane, like you said, if crane flips over, it flips over. Who cares?
Yep. No, I agree. I'm on the other side of this bridge here. I'm a member of IUOE, and for the first little bit of my career, I was Mr. Union or Die. You got to do this. Um, but as I get more experience and the more people I work with in the different trades, um, I find that it's not necessarily one side or the other that makes you. It's the individual and the pride they take in their personal work that makes you a better individual in this industry. Do you feel the same from your side of it, Dave?
Oh, most definitely. It's well, you know, it's some guys in our trade that are non-union. Um, they're just there for a paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what pisses me off about it. You know, you need to take a little more pride in what you do. This is not just a just over broke. It's a career,
Yeah.
and it's a rewarding career if you stick to it and you learn from it. Because my philosophy that I'll have until I die is if you know everything about what you're doing, it's time to retire
Mm-hmm.
because you're learning every day. It doesn't matter if you're union or non-union. You're learning something
Oh yeah,
every
most
day.
definitely. You've been at it quite a while, and I'm sure every day you pick up something new. I know I've been at it a little over 17 years, and I'm constantly picking up a new way to do the same thing constantly. More efficient way, a different way, you know, a better way, a way I was doing wrong. You know, I'm always learning, and I always will learn. So.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And I picked up on it real quick. Like I said, I rigged for 6 years, and company wouldn't break me out, so I left. Went in and got
Mm-hmm.
in another crane, and I figured it out real quick. You know, it's just I threw myself into that fire, and it's non-union job, and it didn't pay very well, um, but I love doing it. That's in my heart and my soul. I love running a crane.
Yeah.
That's what I love to do.
Oh, I'm the exact same way. And it's funny you touch on pay because you know for a while, and I think a lot of it's geographical too, or geological, however you want to term it. Where you're located at dictates, you know, how strong the union is or what the pay gap is, and things of that nature. Because the company I work for, they have branches all over the United States, union and non-union.
Yeah,
And I have made really good working friends in general. We chat on the phone, you know, from different states, talk cranes, call upon each other with questions that are non-union, and I've talked to them, and their pay and benefits, you know, compete with the local that I'm in, and it's you know where they're located at. The union is weaker. It doesn't make sense
yeah,
to join the union because you're going to take about a $6 pay cut. You know,
yeah,
whereas you know here where I'm at, the union is the better way. It's stronger. It's
mhm,
it's the better pay. You know, the more reliable job, the better equipment. Just because of where it's at. The big crane companies are signatory with the union up here. So, and
yeah,
that's the main
yeah,
reason.
yeah. Like our industry, the oil field industry, and Chris will tell you about this, but in our industry, in the oil field industry, unions are not going to work because we work for too
Hmm.
many different companies. Going out to different companies that we work for, and it just wouldn't work because they would never hire you.
Yeah.
You know, uh, and you touching on location, yeah, like the northern and northeast is, it's pure union,
Yeah.
and down south like Texas and Louisiana and Florida, they're not real big union states.
Yeah.
So, but like where you're from or whatever, like Las Vegas, you can't work in a casino without being in the union. You have to join the union.
Hmm.
And when I worked for King Supers in Colorado, I had to join the union. I could not be in the union. I had to
Yeah.
join. They made me join. So, and I
I
didn't
know
like that. So,
it's my most all of my union experience is in with IUOE. I haven't jumped around to different jobs of this and then landed here by fate. It's I kind of came in under my dad, but that's a different story for a different time. Um, but I know where I'm at, it's it's fairly neutral here. There's not a lot. You go up uh, to the northern Indiana, northern Chicago area, it gets pretty volatile, for lack of better terminology. I mean, I've been in
mhm.
debates with guys when I go up there, and of course I clear in, follow everything, but it's like you got the Teamsters and other unions that are, you know, want to
Oh
attack me
yeah,
because my service truck has a fuel tank on it, and they're like, "You're hauling fuel to the crane," and I'm like, "Yeah, when I'm back home, but I promise you, I'm not going to do that here." Because I don't want the fight. I'm not going to have this argument. It's like it's petty enough as it is, but
yeah.
you know, it's like, really? I can't
It's
even fuel my own crane up because the Teamsters have to have it. And I'm like, come on, man.
yeah.
It's
That's
just not
dating back to
enough.
the Hoffa days.
Yeah.
Teamsters ruled everything. All anything to do with the truck, it was the Teamsters.
Hmm.
Jimmy Hoffa Teamsters. You know.
Yeah. Even up there, the operators, they can drive a pickup to the job site, but they better not do nothing. No, I don't even think the operators do. I think the oilers are to drive the pickups.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the oilers drive the pickups to the job site because the operator, his sole purpose is to operate the crane.
Oh
And they
man.
had to fight to get oilers to haul the main loads because
Yeah.
Teamsters was like, it's hauling the load. Well, the Teamster's not going to get out and be the oiler on the crane. So yeah,
Yeah. Front end man.
yeah. So
Yeah. Like my job, my non-union job, I've started at the bottom, and the pay, like I said, the pay wasn't great, but I've made
mhm.
a reputation for myself, and my passion speaks for itself, and the way I operate my crane speaks for myself, and that's what I'm there for. Is to do the best job I can, and all the other stuff goes to the back burner.
Yeah,
But like where I'm at now is, and some guys are like, yeah, yeah, whatever. Uh, you should go union, and I was like, no. I mean, where I'm at right now, I'm good because I
hmm,
get 12 weeks off a year. I get 6 weeks paid vacation.
yeah,
I'm getting paid top dollar down here where I'm at. Uh, drive my own personal truck, get paid for it. So
yeah,
so I'm sitting in hog heaven right now, and the oil field has paid my house off. It's paid several cars off. It's done a lot for me, being non-union, and I
hmm.
can't complain. So
Well, at the end of the day, I think if you don't, union or non, and it's a little harder to do with union, but if you don't put yourself in a position where you need to be at, then that's kind of on you, regardless whether it's you can't blame nobody but yourself for accepting what's given to you. Sometimes you have
exactly.
to, but you should continuously push yourself forward. You can always find doing the same thing. You can find a little better, a little more, or maybe you need to adjust a little bit to get a little more out of the deal. You know what I mean? If you just settle, then you have no reason to complain,
Oh yeah, it
regardless what
is.
side
It's
you're
like
on.
back in the day, unions were actually good.
Yeah.
They they did benefit the working man
Hmm.
until they became political.
Yeah.
So
Well, we all know
there's
politics kind of, but that's neither here
yeah,
nor there.
politics plays in everything, but You know how it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you see it every day in your union hall and all that. So,
But yeah, back in
uh,
the days in the depression, and probably should know a little more, but the back in the days of the depression and stuff like that, the men would do whatever to make a dollar, and so
yeah,
companies and corporations, they would take advantage of it, and the unions did have a voice, and they did say, you know what, you're not going to work this guy this hard, you're not going to fire him because he won't do something stupid. They actually had a purpose, and they served it well. Um, it's just
yeah. And
it's
the
getting
union
washed
has
out by the.
benefited.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the union has benefited the non-union side also.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's lots of benefits like the 40-hour work week and overtime pay
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So unions did have done good for the industry in
Yeah,
a whole.
I mean, I think a lot of it too. Not, and it's not just the unions in politics. It's also the the working man, the current state of the economy, which we touched on the last episode or 2 episodes ago, of the individual, the mindset of the person working, of the we want a 40 hour without doing nothing. We want to sit right here. Has kind of hurt of a lot of the union too, because it's gone from protecting to sheltering in some instances, because
Hmm.
a guy that doesn't really want to work, he can't really get fired. He can't be disciplined. Sometimes we
Yeah.
need that. We need to have that, and that's one of
Oh
the
yeah.
benefits of the non-union side. You've almost got to you've got to prove yourself. You've got to give them a reason to keep you, and not because there's always going to be someone else, and they can find somebody and just get rid of you. And so
Oh
there's a
yeah.
little bit of fear that goes into pushing you to do a better job. A little bit of
Yeah.
fear is good. Fear is healthy.
It's you get in a crane and you wreck it in the non-union side or whatever. You deserve to be fired.
Yeah.
You flip a crane over or whatever, and because you're out of chart and you did it on purpose, yeah, you're gonna get shit canned.
Hmm.
You know, that's
Well, let's. What about, we got a couple guys in the green room here? They've got anything they want to chime in on it? I mean,
Justin had his hand up first, so we'll go with Justin.
yep, go for it.
Well, was going to comment on something that you had said earlier, Dave, about the day that you think that you know everything, it's time to hang up. And I hate to use the analogy, but like we use that a lot, and I use it a lot on my everyday. But in the fire service, we have the same thing. Day you think you know
Hmm.
everything, you're going to get somebody killed. You're going to get at somebody really, really hurt. And I've preached that, and a lot of guys have like asked, well, what do you mean by that? I said, you're always learning something new every day. Prime example, um, I'm running, kind of also tying in with with the news article with talking about the newer equipment. I'm running the oldest of the 375 tons at the company that I'm working, and I'm learning something new with that machine every day.
Oh yeah,
And it's nice to be able to call on some of the older guys and be like, hey, I got questions. And I'm a non-union company that I work for, and I have nothing against the union. I have actually a good friend of mine who works for Maxim, and he's down in Florida working, and he loves it. And it's all about where you are. But I called the old operator of it, and I learned a few little nifty tricks on getting the jib back in after putting an extension in.
yeah,
And I see it in my company, which is really, really nice. I have the ability to call just about anyone in the company, um, and get a answer to my problem. It's not, you have one or two that might be, hesitant,
yeah.
but pretty much across the board, I can call anyone like, hey, man, I'm having a problem with this machine. What can I do? And kind of
Well,
also, we were talking about, oh, go ahead.
I've ran into a bunch of operators, and we call it, the terminology we call them are crane gods.
Mm.
They are the ones that think they know everything.
I call them lever pullers.
They are the
The
ones that will
almighty.
get you killed. They are the cowboys.
Hmm.
They don't care. They're there to show off, and that's all they're there for. They will get you hurt in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yep, there
go ahead,
is.
Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
Man, you're talking about the crane gods. Working at the school, I have seen guys come in, and every one of them that brags and tells tall tales of lifts they've made and cranes they've run can usually barely run a crane.
Mm-hmm.
It's the humble ones that come in and really kick ass, and the ones that come in and ask questions and aren't scared to ask a dumb question. Those are the
Yeah.
ones that I have seen excel because they want to know. And I have more respect for those people than anybody.
We have those guys in our group. Some young operator will come in and ask a question, and we will get, I shit you not, at least 100 guys. Go look in the book. Go look in the book. Well, yeah, no shit. He needs to go look in the book. But if you have an answer for him, like he's in a bind, he needs some help. He's asking for help. Just help the guy,
Yeah.
you know. But
I
yeah,
mean,
you definitely need to be reading that book. But
oh yeah, I always get on them too. Whenever I get it, there's no dumb question, but I'll call it a dumb question. But I will answer anything, and I'm always the one, and I do it. I'll grab that book and I'll slam it in their lap, and I stand there and make sure they know what they're looking for. But they're going to learn it as well as getting the answer. Unless it's a time where we need to figure it out, then this is what we're going to do right now. Let's roll with it.
yeah,
So
let's shut the job down. Look in the book, see the proper procedures, and then you can go on about your day. But if it's like, oh, I lost tele status, how do I get my tele status back? Oh, I know that. Here, let me help you.
mm-hmm.
You know, it's those little things, not the big things. Like,
Yeah,
oh man, I need to get into emergency mode. Well, I'm not going to help you over the internet. Go get
yeah,
in your book. It tells you how to do it in the book. Go read.
yeah. If you
You
need
need to know
emergency
where
mode, you
you
need to
need to
get
know
in
where
the.
your pins are. You need
Mm-hmm.
to know where your pins are, your length of your RAM, all that shit.
Yeah,
Go
if
look
you
in the
need
book. It gives
emergency
you all
mode,
that.
you need a mechanic, you need a book, you need to understand all that because there's obviously something else that may or may not have happened that needs to be handled. So,
Yeah,
Exactly.
you need more permission than I can give you over the internet.
Yeah. Go ahead, Justin. You had a story about the oil field union.
So quick story. Back when I first broke out, when I started in the oil field. I was just a little baby rigger and was real wet behind the ears. And we were moving a drilling rig in West Virginia. And shout out for A Crane out of Pittsburgh. Man, they helped us out in a bind. The operator that I had, he just up and quit. He had enough, and there was some other stuff going on. He just quit, and we needed an operator right there and then. So we made a call to A Crane, and they sent an operator out to run an old GMK 275. And
Hmm.
I, being new, I had heard these horror stories of, oh, you're going to have a miserable time working with the union guys, or, union forever, they're not going to want to work with you. This union operator, he was in his mid 40s, great dude. His name's Steve.
Hmm.
If I can't remember his last name off the top of my head, but he came out there and I told him, I said, hey, I've only moved this rig once. I'm going to be honest with you. We need to take it slow breaking this thing down. I'm 20 years old. And he's like, listen, buddy, we're going to take our time. He said, my union contract says I can be out here for X amount of time. We're getting it done. And he said, I'm going to tell you right now, we're a brotherhood out here, and I don't care that you're a
mm-hmm.
non-union rigger. We're getting this job done. And we went to
Yeah.
working all night, and he worked all through the night. And I called my office. I said, can we get this guy back? He saved the day. And he even said, he's like, listen, he said, one day you're going to want to become an operator. And I want you to remember something, Justin. He said, you always protect your brother and look out for your fellow brother. It don't matter if you're union, non-union, and white, black, Hispanic. We're all in this together. And he said, and one day if you're ever in the seat and, you need somebody's asking for help, you need to give it to them because you were in that. No one ever started in this industry as the top dog, the best of the best. He said, I
Hmm.
want you to remember that. And I want to take that with you for the rest of your career. And I have. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
always be willing to help somebody out. We got a real
Exactly.
young guy at the company I'm working with now. He's real excited. He's running a 30-ton. We were running an old 165 in the yard. He's like, hey, can I pick up some counterweight? Absolutely. I'm standing here. The only way you're going to learn is you get in the seat. Let's do it.
Yep.
And he picked
Yeah.
some counterweight, landed it, and he did a good job. And he he's like, man, I really appreciate that. That the little things add up.
Yep.
Oh yeah. When I got in the seat, and we call those worms, by the way, Justin.
I remember the term very well because I was a worm at one point in my career.
1 point.
Where's the V-door key?
1 point. Yeah.
I fell for it.
Yep. There's the key to the cellar.
That's funny. Can of AIR. So
It's in the company man shack.
Yeah, but every time I was in the yard, Justin, every time I was in the yard as a rigger, I would be in a crane. I'd be in there moving it, running it, moving jibs around, whatever I had to do, you know. And operating a crane is all about geometry. So that's all you got to know.
well, we're getting close to the end here, so hate to just stab it, but I mean it's such a great discussion. I hate cutting them off like that. But this topic will come back. This is not a one and done show here. But we're getting close on time, fellas, and so on the verge of being a jerk. Let's move on and do our picking in the blind. And Dave, I think you've got picking in the blind, don't you, today?
Yeah.
So let's remind anybody new what picking in the blind is, and hit us with it.
Picking in the blind is a segment in our show that's totally off topic and not industry related by any means. It's just a good way to sign off on the show and get everybody talking together. So our picking in the blind is, if you could live in any fictional world, where would it be and why?
Pandora,
Star
because of the
Trek.
blue people.
Travis,
Star
since
Trek.
you're listening, first.
Go ahead. Okay, Dave. I am. Hello, friends and everybody out there. I was just kind of chiming in on this and didn't expect to chime in, but I can't walk away from this one. God, there's a half dozen universes that I would love to live in, whether it be,
Oh my
go
God.
go visit the world of Tatooine or Coruscant, attend a semester at Hogwarts, cruise the verse in a Serenity Firefly class.
Take a breath,
God,
Travis. Take a breath.
I could go on and on and on.
Travis.
So
One
to
pla-
answer your question, yes, just yes. Take your pick, yes.
You want to live in your boom truck?
I'll take my boom truck wherever. I'll take my boom truck to freaking Coruscant. I don't care.
All right,
No,
Chris.
Travis, you take your boom truck to Tatooine.
That's that's
Have you
Star
ever-
Trek, ain't it?
Have you ever been to West Texas, Justin?
I have not, and I plan on never going.
Texas, you might as well have been to Tatooine because both of them suck.
All right, Chris.
That's a fact. I picked Star
Yeah.
Trek, and I'll tell you why. If you watch the franchise and you look at the Federation of Planets, they solved all of the bad problems of racial disharmony, hunger, and everything else. If you go to Star Wars universe, we're still fighting. The Republic is still fighting, and it's kind of what we are today on a galactic scale. Star Trek fixed all the problems, in my opinion. So that's
Well, you got to watch out for
I would want
those
to live
pesky
in.
Klingons.
And that is why Star Trek is a fantasy. Because the human nature, I don't think we will ever fix those problems.
Well, I think
Unfortunately
Star Trek
to
is
say
Star
this,
Wars.
Fantasy as opposed to a lightsaber and a guy breathing.
Okay.
Oh god.
Okay, to be fair, lightsabers have been created. Like, there's a dude that created a lightsaber that can cut through shit. Okay, so I mean,
I know a guy that can do
that was
magic
cool.
tricks. He's not Hogwarts.
Oh God, Dave, don't just, or Chris, just stop. Okay, nobody
I mean-
is Hogwarts.
Y'all are debating
What
about
about
the
you,
exact
Justin?
same thing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Star Trek and Star Wars, there's very minimal difference in between them. I mean,
Okay, there's a lot of different. There's a
Wow,
lot of
shots
differences
fired
there.
across the bow.
Okay, all right. There's,
Justin,
I mean,
Justin, where and why? Oh my God. Justin,
I'm just sitting in the corner throwing shots. I just want to hear Travis meltdown.
what,
Continue.
where and why?
Justin's going to live at the firehouse in New York City or something.
Oh Jesus! You'd have to
I
join
would
the
wait for
union though.
Justin to say something about like Pornhub or something, that universe.
Oh man.
Badsters, I am a classy whore. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's funny.
No,
But
actually,
a whore
I would
nonetheless.
actually get a kick out of this. Where I would like it would
Well,
be Harry Potter, and I would use my magical BS powers of increasing whatever crane I had capacity. Be like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this today. I'm just going to lift it with my wand. I'm not setting the crane up today. Screw you. Or I lose something.
Dude, could you
Astro watch.
actually imagine, the practicality of that? I mean, you could start your own business.
Yeah.
Charge half the rate of what a real crane would come out there and be like, yeah, I got this. But done, move.
Done.
All right,
You
pay
would
up.
be Jimmy Hoffa in a heartbeat.
Oh, you probably would. Oh, absolutely. But
oh yeah.
you got your wand, and you'll protect you. You'd be like, to all those Jimmy Hoffa people. You're like, yeah,
Hey, Travis,
I got this.
Travis.
Yes.
Justin could bring boom trucks to reality with his wand.
I don't understand why you think boom trucks don't exist. Okay, they do exist. I make TikToks about it almost on a daily basis.
They're not real.
No.
I've only
It's
used a
actually a
boom truck.
cardboard cutout.
I'm going to go with Mandela effect, but
Oh, boom
All
trucks
right,
are
Kenny.
useful to pick up my paycheck in the oil field.
Wow.
You're right. You know what? And when I go
Forgot
home
about
every
that.
night to your lady, you tell me how good that paycheck is.
Hey,
We
you
get a
keep
little
it.
spicy.
Hey, feel free, because after the first 2 inches, it's still new to me.
Hey, it'll be new to me too.
Oh Jesus! All right, Kenny,
This
where
is
and
why
why?
we can't have nice things.
We all know what Kenny
I'm
wants.
Kenny.
Kenny's going to Pandora
Okay.
so
He
he
wants
can
to-
play with the blue people.
Damn it, Travis! You know me way too well. Because
I
yes,
do.
I'm going to Pandora because it's such a blissful planet there, and the
Is it?
bioluminescence and all the animals and creatures around it are absolutely beautiful. Yes, I'm a
Well, we
nature person.
strip mine the shit out of it. Strip mining galore.
Well, Avatar 2's coming out in December, and we'll see how much they've stripped mine because I bet they put a
Oh.
stop to it, destroying
No,
such
you
a
think
beautiful
so?
planet. I
Do
think so.
you really think so? How much? Look at any mining company or any corporation. If there is profit to be made, they're in a force that will stop them from getting it. They
AWOL
would
said-
mine the shit out of Pandora.
Hey,
AWOL
Travis.
won't stop them.
Travis,
Yeah, go ahead.
you need to take that microphone out of your mouth.
He sucked
Sorry.
it in. He sucked it in talking about his fantasies a while ago.
I'd actually have to agree with Kenny though, because you get paid. I would take the side of the humans because I'm getting paid to blow stuff up, and go to another world. And right now, Earth's not too good, so sayonara. I'll see you in a couple years, boys.
Well, I mean,
Damn it,
AWOL put a
off
stop
the
to the
chart.
mining, so she controls. She's the entity, their deity. She controls all things that happen. So she'll send everything to attack them. That's all it is to
I
it.
would I would have to go with Travis, and God help me, but I would have to go with Travis and go with Star Wars, and I would want to be a Jedi. So there you
The
go.
Crane Jedi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Use
You
the
wanna be
Force,
the
Dave.
master
See,
of
Justin. See, Justin, I can move things with my hand, and I don't need a stick.
Oh,
I can
it's
move
so
things with my hand,
impressive.
too.
Actually, no, I do have a quick question though for Mr. Travis. Which faction would you be in Star Wars? Because we are going to judge you very, very hard. I have my answer. What is yours?
If you've seen my TikTok channel, you already know the answer to that because I'm building an actual Mandalorian rig.
Well, you never know. You could be a closet Jedi. We're not here to judge, my friend, but
Nobody's no. Okay,
I'm judging
first off,
harsh.
Jedi are horrible. They really
know what
are
I'm
terrible
judging, but I'm
people,
judging.
and they have earned. They deserved what they got. Okay, the real victims of the Clone Wars and all that is actually the clones. Those are the guys that you actually need to feel sorry for.
spare some change.
Why would you
for
feel
a
for
war bet.
See, there's Travis feeling sorry for things that don't exist.
Well, that's
Travis,
Like Boom
is guns
Truck.
your
that's not the
religion?
point. It's what?
Is guns your religion?
Yes, it is.
I will agree with you. I have to side with that. I would be chasing
Right?
as a Mandalorian.
This is the way.
This
You
is
know
the
another
way.
reason why I would go to Pandora? Because I wouldn't have to hear this crap. It's pretty cut and dry from this point.
Oh,
You
so
know, it's
just
like
pray to
sealed
a
my
tree.
fate.
The all-knowing
So?
tree. It knows
So?
best. I'm gonna hit
So?
hook. I have that.
Kenny's
Can't
used
even
to
talk
plugging
no
things
more.
into
Go
his
ahead.
ass.
So, Kenny did what?
Kenny's used to plugging things into his ass.
No, it's with your ponytail, dude. You link ponytails.
It's connected to your ass.
I'm having a spiritual moment through my man bun and ponytail.
Hell yeah. It's better than going, I moved something with my hand.
Yeah, make my life so much easier. And I could get paid top dollar for it. So it's a win-win. I could be lazy and get paid extra money.
He's
That don't
not
happen
moving it with his
already?
hand. He's moving it with a stick.
And I'd make it even better.
Isn't
I'd
it
be
kind
like the meme from SpongeBob. You want to see it again? Want to see it again?
I could be little. I could be little Yoda.
Well, you got to be little to be little Yoda.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
At least he didn't call you like Jabba the Hutt. That would be a sting.
Oh yeah.
Well, fellas, what do you think? You ready to sign off here? I think it's
Yeah.
been a good episode. We even had a guest appearance by Travis, so that's always a good time.
I'm always
Well blessed.
happy to just crash your party, Kenny.
I know. I'm happy when
You
you
didn't crash.
it.
You were invited.
It's still crashing it in a roundabout kind of way.
I was going to say, not really, because I just showed up at the beginning and I was like, no, don't worry, I'm just going to listen. And sure enough, all I did was listen until you invited me, to come into the last section.
I knew.
Which I do
knew
appreciate.
You could not resist.
Oh, I would
knew
have.
You could not resist.
There was no way
no
I would go without mentioning that.
Dave, if I would have known you was going to ask that, I probably would have intentionally said, no, don't bring Travis in just to hear him squirm, knowing that it's talking fantasy world and he's just going to go crazy. Well, if you guys have made it this far, make sure you follow us on whatever streaming platform you've got us on. Jump on over to TikTok, like the TikTok page. We've got a Facebook page as well, fan page. Jump over and like it. It's all the same handle, the Line Pull Podcast. Let us know what you think. Give us topics. We just appreciate everybody that's downloaded it and listened this far into it. So we're making her happen.
Don't forget to rate and comment on this podcast.
Yep, rate and comment, do all that. Help us out here. All that stuff goes a long way for us. So, gentlemen, it's been fun. Until
later,
Gators.
Deuces.